Hey everyone, it's Mr. Drake. We have finished up the Byzantine Empire and Islam. We're actually going to pause in our study of world civilizations, and we're going to spend the next few days going over some information pertaining to the upcoming election. And this video will introduce you to political parties in preparation for a project we'll be doing over the next week or so. In this very brief introduction, we're going to go over what political parties are and what they do. We'll talk a little bit about political parties in the United States, which ones exist, sort of a very basic overview of what they believe, and how candidates are chosen for each party, and a very, very basic overview of how elections work. Now, first, a very brief explanation of what a political party is. A party is an organization that tries to influence government policy in a way that fits that party's system of beliefs or values. And they do that by trying to get their people that belong to that party, into political office, whether it's Congress or the presidency, what have you. They want to have people in power so that those people can then advocate for laws that will reflect what that party wants the government to do and what they want the government to look like. And here's a very brief look at how political parties actually accomplish that goal. First of all, they develop a platform. A platform is a written out document that shows what a political party believes, what they actually want to get accomplished. And each party puts that out there for the people, the voters, so that the voters can decide which candidates from which parties they want to support. Political parties also have a fundraising arm that goes out and raises money so that they can campaign. Now, some money for major political parties is actually provided by the government for elections that are, national in scope, like the presidential election. But a lot of money comes directly from people or from companies or organizations that decide to support a particular side, a particular political party. And then with that money, the parties go out and campaign for their candidates in the form of advertisements. At this point, you've probably seen countless ads on television for not just the presidential race between President Obama and Governor Romney, but also for congressional races and other local races in the area. You've probably seen a ton. They also put on campaign events where candidates will get out and speak and try to get the crowd fired up and encourage them to go vote. They'll hold big events on college campuses to get people registered to vote, or out in the community trying to encourage people to go vote for their side. So that's what political parties actually do with the money that they raise. The United States is what's referred to as a two-party system. Now, there are literally dozens of political parties in this country, and we'll talk more about those as this video goes on. But the lion's share of elections in this country are won by people who belong to one of two political parties. And those two parties you've probably heard of, I'm sure, are the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party was the first of the two established. It was established in 1828. And it is the oldest currently operating political party in the United States. President Obama is a member of the Democratic Party. Some other famous presidents you may have heard of that were Democrats. Bill Clinton, who was president back in the 1990s and was president at the time that you guys were born. John F. Kennedy was a Democrat. Franklin Roosevelt, the president during World War II, was a Democrat, as was Andrew Jackson of $20 bill fame. He was actually the first Democratic U.S. president. The other major political party, like I said, is the Republican Party. It was established in 1854, which is about 6 years before the beginning of the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president. Some other famous Republicans to serve in the White House: Teddy Roosevelt, Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was the main general during World War II. Ronald Reagan was president during most of the 1980s, and Obama's predecessor, George W. Bush. Every U.S. president since 1853 has been either a Democrat or a Republican. Currently, of the 535 people serving in the U.S. Congress, 435 people in the House of Representatives, and 100 people in the Senate, all but 3 are members of either the Democratic or the Republican Party. The other three are independent. They're not a member of any party. So these are the two parties that dominate the American political landscape. Now, the Democrats and the Republicans are the two national parties in the United States. They are on the ballot in all 50 states. Again, almost every major elected official in the country is a member of one of those two political parties. But there are some parties out there that try to provide an alternative to people who maybe don't agree with the Democrats or the Republicans on certain issues. And those are some issues that you're going to study as this election project gets up and running. But these parties are called third parties. And here are some of the more well-known third parties in the country. The Libertarian Party is a fairly conservative party that was founded back in the 1970s that's very, very strong on personal freedoms. And they have run a presidential candidate since 1972, every election, and they typically come in third in presidential elections. The Green Party was established in the 1990s primarily on environmental issues. They care a lot about the environment, and a lot of their platform deals with protecting the earth and protecting the environment. And the Reform Party was established in 1995 on a platform of reforming the way the government works and the way taxes are proportioned out to people and all of that. The Reform Party actually did get a fairly high-level person elected in the 1990s. They got elected a governor in the state of Minnesota named Jesse Ventura, someone who had actually been a professional wrestler and then ran for office as a third-party candidate for the Reform Party, and he won and served one term as the governor of Minnesota. So, like I said, it's almost always Democrats and Republicans who win major political offices, but sometimes those third parties sneak in and pull off the upset, as it were. But as this unit goes on, you're going to study some of these political parties and what they believe and who their candidates are in this upcoming election and present that to your classmates. Now, here's how parties actually choose which candidates are going to run. Like I said, one of the primary goals of parties is to, pick candidates who can get elected and then get into office and do things according to the party's beliefs. Well, party members will pick a candidate early in the year of an election in what are called primary elections. And primary elections are closed and limited just to people who are members of that particular party. So if you're a Republican, you'll vote in the Republican primary. And if you're a registered Democratic voter, you'll vote in the Democratic primary. And I have a picture here from New Hampshire, which was a very early presidential primary back at the beginning of the year. And you see this is just the candidate of the Republican Party. So the person would just vote for which Republican they wanted to be the Republican Party's presidential candidate. There was also a Democratic primary. And then the winner of those primaries will go on and face off against each other in what's called a general election. And that's what's coming up in a few days on November the 6th. The Democratic nominee is Barack Obama, and the Republican nominee is Mitt Romney. He won the primaries for the Republican Party. So that is how the candidates are actually chosen to run against each other. Now, the information in this PowerPoint is meant to lay the groundwork for the election project that we're going to be doing over the next few days here at RTHS. What you're going to be doing over the next few days in a group is researching a political party and the presidential candidate of that party. On Monday, November the 5th, you are only going to be working on election-related stuff in all of your classes. And in each of your classes, you are going to add something to your presentation that pertains to something that each teacher will go over with you. Then that presentation will be displayed in the gallery on Election Day, which is Tuesday, and we will have a mock election. So the idea is that people in their study halls will be able to see the presentations, learn about the parties, learn about the candidates, and then cast their vote for who they would like to see elected President of the United States next week. You will get a lot more information on this in the coming days, so stay tuned for all of that. And as always, ask your teachers if you have any questions. Cheers.